Welcome to a special Rugby Obsession Deep Dive.
Great to be here.
Today, we're really getting into some fascinating stuff about the Springboks' future strategy. Comes straight from Rassie Erasmus himself.
Yeah, the sources we've seen lay out a pretty clear vision. It's bold.
Definitely bold.
Yeah.
It's all about building for the long haul, not just the next win. So our mission today is, well, to pull out the key bits for you, get you up to speed on their thinking.
So you can maybe even predict how their season might unfold.
Exactly. But hey, before we jump right in, make sure you hit that subscribe button for Rugby Obsession. You don't want to miss any of our deep dives.
Absolutely. This plan, it's really about strategic foresight, isn't it? Looking way beyond just the next game.
Okay, let's unpack this main idea. Rassie's talking very openly about a wide-ranging rotation policy. Now, why is that such a big deal?
Well, the thing is, it's not actually a totally new concept for them. They did something very similar last year, didn't they?
They did, yeah.
Used, I think it was like 50 players. Handed out quite a few new caps, too. They were definitely spreading the load.
And that's the kicker, right? Because it absolutely did not hurt their performance.
Not one bit. In fact, despite all that rotation, they won the rugby championship, stayed top of the world rugby rankings.
Incredible.
Only lost, what, twice all year?
Yeah, only 2 losses. So that past success, it really backs up this whole approach, doesn't it?
Completely.
Yeah.
It shows it's a viable winning strategy for them, not just theory.
So if anyone thought maybe after the World Cup win, they might, settle things down, stick with a core group.
Nope. Rassie's made it crystal clear. They're doubling down, continuing to use that wider squad.
Which brings us to the long game. What does this really mean looking forward?
Well, it raises that classic question, doesn't it? How do you balance winning right now with building for, say, 3 or 4 years down the line?
Right.
And Erasmus is quite direct. He says the mindset is trying to win every single match this year.
Okay. Ambitious.
But at the same time, they're focused on building that squad depth and getting guys experience. It's like a dual focus.
Both at once.
Yeah.
And it's all really pointing towards the 2027 Rugby World Cup, isn't it?
Absolutely. That's the big target.
He even set a specific goal. Wants most players to have over 15 test caps by then. Why 15 specifically? Is that like a magic number for World Cup readiness?
Well, 15 caps, it's not arbitrary. It suggests a player isn't just, dipped their toe in. They've likely faced different styles, high-pressure situations.
Experience test match intensity properly.
Exactly. They understand the demands. It means you're building a core group that's genuinely battle-hardened for a tournament environment. Less risk of falling off a cliff after a big win. You've got seasoned guys ready.
And it's not just about bringing in youngsters either. He mentioned some senior guys could stick around until 2026.
Yeah, that's key. It's not youth instead of experience. It's blending them.
How does that work in practice, though? Keeping cohesion with all that rotation and mixing old heads with new faces?
It seems to rely heavily on a really strong leadership group. The senior players are vital for the culture, for setting standards.
Acting as mentors, maybe?
Precisely, guiding the younger guys. And the core game plan, the system, seems to stay pretty consistent. So players rotate, but they slot into a familiar structure.
Okay, so the system provides the stability rather than the exact same 15 players every week.
That seems to be the idea. The challenge is always getting those new combinations to click quickly, of course. That's where coaching and prep come in.
Right. And this whole plan, this vision for 2027, it gets tested straight away. Let's look at the schedule they've got coming up.
Yeah, it's a busy start. First up on home soil, they've got the Barbarians in Cape Town. That's Saturday, June 28th, for the Qatar Airways Cup.
Boss games are always interesting, often a bit looser. Good chance to try things.
Definitely. Then it's Italy, back-to-back. Pretoria on July 5th, then Grubirha on the 12th.
Okay.
And then they round off that block against Georgia in Nelspruit a week later, July 19th.
Italy and Georgia, good opportunities there to really implement that rotation and give guys meaningful minutes.
You'd think so. Perfect chance to test combinations under proper test match pressure and build that experience Erasmus wants.
And the squad they announced for 2025 really reflects this whole strategy, doesn't it? The sheer number of names and where they're playing.
Oh, absolutely. You look at the list players from the Sharks, Stormers, Bulls, Lions here at home, but also guys based in Japan, England, Ireland, Scotland, Wales. It's a global network.
That diversity must be a strength in itself. Players bringing different experiences.
Hugely valuable. Exposure to different coaching, different styles of play in those leagues. It adds layers to their game. Plus, it helps manage workload across different demanding seasons.
And you see that mix, right? Talented young guys coming in alongside the big established names, Kolisi, Etzebeth, Marks, De Allende, Colby.
Yeah, Lud Dieger, too. It's clear they're bringing the youngsters in to learn directly from those guys, stake their own claim, reinforces that whole build for 2027 thing.
It's a fascinating stuff. And as we keep digging into these strategies, remember, folks, hit subscribe on Rugby Obsession so you don't miss any deep dive. Stay ahead of the game with us.
Definitely worth following.
So, okay, we've talked about the rotation plan, the big focus on 2027, the depth of the squad, thinking about all that, and how well it worked last year. We want to know what you think.
Yeah, given what Rassie's laid out and seeing it succeed before, what you reckon is the absolute most critical thing for them this season? Is it getting that youth experience balance just right, managing player fitness, the tactics?
Or maybe something else entirely.
What stands out to you?
And here's a direct challenge for you. It comes right from the source material we looked at. How many games do you think the Springboks will win this year?
Ooh, good question. Will this strategy lead to, like, an invincible season? Or will the rotation mean a few bumps in the road?
Let us know. Drop a comment wherever you found this deep dive. Or you can even send us a WhatsApp. The number is 060-011-0211.
Yeah, we'd love to hear your predictions and takes on it all.
It really shows, doesn't it, how proper strategic planning in sport. It's not just about the next result. It's about building something sustainable.
A legacy, really. Staying at the top for the long run.
Well, thank you for joining us on this Rugby Obsession deep dive.
Been a pleasure.
And don't forget, subscribe to Rugby Obsession for more analysis like this. Keep yourself in the know. We'll look forward to you listening to our next episode.